Okay, I'd like to introduce Brian. He's going to be speaking on the topic is the only requirement for membership. So let's give a warm welcome to Brian.
My name is Brian and I'm an addict.
Hey, Brian.
I want to thank Beverly Wright in this area and this young lady here and for all of y'all to be here this time to allow this message of hope to keep being spread. And my topic is the only requirement for membership is a desire to stop using. But before I get into the topic, I want to talk about the many are called, but only a few are chosen. And to spend time at 1 o'clock almost in the morning to sit here and feel the process of what we do here with gratitude is a blessing in its own. You know, because it doesn't have to be a whole lot of people here. Who's here is who God's supposed to say this is who's going to be here. see, but with membership, there's a price. And I'm going to talk about, in the beginning, I got here in 1994. And I couldn't wait to be a part of what I seen those who were here before me do. And what I heard and what I saw didn't match up. Because in 30 years ago, there were so many people that had their perspective of what recovery looks like. And it's a difference between me, I'm an addict and a member. That's two different things. But I didn't understand that early. Because when I got here, what they did for me was made me feel welcome. And those were some of the things that allowed me to continue in the process to become what they talk about when they say membership ain't free. So the requirements were starting to take place through the misinformation that I was getting here, because the main thing that I needed to do was not to use anymore and to keep coming. See, so that requirement was real clear to me. In the process of me trying to understand whether I'm going to stay here or not, or go back and finish killing myself. So as I got here, I started to understand the fact that everything here ain't for everybody. This is all part of the requirements that I need to see, and I had to understand the fact that when I picked up the basic text for the first time, it says if you an addict and you have this book, give yourself a break and read it. I said, wow, that was real plain for me. So some things were manifesting in my early years that kept me intrigued about trying to understand what I'm here for. Drugs got me here. See, this ain't Sharing Anonymous, Relationship Anonymous. No, this is Narcotic Anonymous, Brian. You had a problem with drugs. My first pop of cocaine was in 1968 in the schoolyard. Didn't stop till 1994. I come from the Richard Allen Projects in North Philadelphia, 1113 C Parish Place is where I lived at. And when I moved to South Jersey to finish high school, I brought North Philadelphia with me. And I bought all of the things that I saw that was so glamorous to me, right? The alligator shoes, the older cats I hung out with, all of those things was a part of the requirements that was being manifested in me based on when I got here so I could be opened up to see what I can't see. So requirements took a process. And I'm so glad that when I got here, my sponsor said to me, one of the requirements, the first one was the suggestions that y'all gave me. Brian, we think you need to make 90 meetings in 90 days, man. You keep coming, man. You know, you'll understand what this is all about. You eventually will understand what this is about. But through that process, they said those that get the most out of this program take sponsorship real seriously. So those are some of the requirements early that I had to have if I'm going to say 30 years later that I'm a member of Narcotic Anonymous. See, I can be here, but not be here on any given meeting, on any given day. But the principles that lie in the tradition says that I can't judge. I got to get rid of all unrealistic expectations. I got to treat those like somebody treated me as if we survived a major catastrophe. I forget those things when you caught up in fellowshipping, when you caught up in saying, look here, I'm grateful to be here. But the gratitude speaks not only with what I say, it's more powerful than when I shut up and show you what to do. I don't have to talk about that. Those are the tools that the anonymity here gives me. The principles of the third tradition, the respect, the safety that takes place here when I come to the meeting. When somebody will say to me, yo, man, I'm just glad you're here, man. And you're welcome here. Drink the whole pot of coffee up if you want to. Just don't go nowhere. Because something's getting ready to happen to you. Those was the messages early when I got here. When the home group would be here and say, if you don't have a sponsor, we have members here that will help you find one. I don't see that no more. Please don't leave without letting us know if you are right or not. This was in the formats where I could understand, opposed to, I'm talking about members who have a sponsor. I'm talking about members who hug me. I'm talking about members who are in service. I'm talking about members who would say, yo, come on, man, and have some pizza with us, whether you got money or not. The tools that allow them to be free, the keys to freedom. So in the third tradition now, I got this. For me, I love it because it's the pay attention tradition, Brian, because you got an assignment now. See, I look at it for what I've been through and how early I would say, man, you ain't getting clean like I'm getting clean. You talking crazy. No. Here it says I can't judge. I got to flame the desire. So what is desire? It's something that I desperately want. Something that I feel inside that I can't get to. You know. So when I got here, they said, lost dreams are awakened and new possibilities arrive. And the old then I would say, man, what does that mean? He said, you just keep coming here because you talked about it when your hands is closed or your mouth is shut and you can't get fed. You want to keep them open. What this program has to offer for me, I have to have an open mind to understand the fact that you might not look like me, but our common welfare must come first. Older members showed me that. So in the third tradition, it's not talking about the newcomer that's coming here. It's talking about me who already been here for a while. See, the I dies now for real. It's about what we do in tradition and how the group has saved my life. So if I respect that, I gotta follow the principles. The program has a set of principles. One in your steps, some in your steps, and a set in the traditions. So it talks about in the third tradition about the desire, right? There's no requirements, but there's some requirements that I gotta do with the tools that I have been given based on through my experiences here being clean. Everybody know what it was about using. So when the newcomers show up, I gotta love him up like you did me. I can't judge him. I can't hang around with cliques and sit over here and talk about what he ain't doing when I'm not serving in no capacity at all. I've done that. But as I matured here, there's something about these principles, boy. Good God Almighty. These principles will make you feel like a chump, you know. Where you sitting in the meeting talking under your breath, shut up. You know, all of that stuff are the growing pains that going to come back to you when somebody that you know and love or come to you and say, can you help me? Now my perspective has changed. Because if I can give you that, why can't I give it to somebody who I know the diversity is our strength here? It talks about the ties that bind us together are stronger than those that tear us apart. What happens in the group setting, healing takes place here. We don't talk about that no more. See, we talk, I gotta make a meeting. What you do, make a meeting to see your friends? Or this wasn't about friendship when I first got here. See, I don't want, see, that's where the anonymity, another principle, is so powerful here. See, anonymity will render my personality powerless and allow me to sit here with the same grace and mercy, roll with the same shame and guilt that you rolling with, to be here and stay here. I'm talking about membership ain't free. The desire I can't measure in you. Whether you came here 10 times in a row, you still got a desire if you keep showing up. I had a desire to stop using that stuff, but I just couldn't. And when I got here, they said to me, we don't care who you got from. You know. What your problem is, partner, all we want to know is how can we help you? And those members had something, a swag about them that always came and sat with me. It said, yo, man, check this out, man. I understand what you're going through, baby. But go through it right here. I'm talking about the esoteric of what takes place in my life while I'm here. How many are called, but only a few are chosen, that's going to hit a button in my spirit that keep me here. The member, not the addict. That's the member there. Because I'm not just an addict no more. I'm a recovering one. I'm a product of the ultimate weapon. See, and those things matter as I grow in the process. How well I'm going to display how glad I am to see you tonight or this morning. Here, sharing with me and giving me the courage to give y'all what I got, man. See, there's nothing that I can do on my own when I'm talking about traditions and we're talking about what we do together. I can't stay clean on my own. I need a safety net, the meeting, your home group. I need somebody to talk to that knows me better than I know myself. sometimes because I can't see what's going on with me. I only feel what I feel because I come from a place where the core of my disease is my total self-centeredness. I'd rather talk about you first than to talk about me. God Almighty. I done got warm now. I was back here a little chilly. See, but I'm talking about in the principles it talks about, in the guiding principles it talks about how members here need more compassion on a lot of days. We got a lot of passion for making meetings, but no compassion for understanding that the newcomer goes through the same thing we go through because the pain is the same. It might not look like how I did it, but it feels like the results of how they felt is just how I felt. Those are the tools that keep this fellowship alive and free. I want to welcome you here now. See, I don't get up here a lot of days and say, yeah, man, and I got so 30 years or whatever. I don't know what I got, but November 4th is my clean date. I've been here since 94. When the newcomer asks me, man, how long you been clean? I've been clean today, man, just like you. Right. The heck with all that. See, because I'm only one bad decision away from using again. No matter how much clean time I have. But membership and going through the requirements to get there allow me to see that brokenness and a fractured personality keeps me here. See, at one point, it was my worst enemy, but today it's an asset. Knowing where I came from to come to here has been more than just grace for me. I'm living it for the first time in my life. I know who got me here. I got here through his grace and mercy. But he's saying, yo, man, check this out. What I've given you dirty, rotten scoundrel. Oh, yo, boy. Why would you turn your nose up at so-and-so? Because they don't look like you. They don't think like you. Boy, you got to keep coming. My imperfections are more important to me than what I achieve here. Because my imperfections will keep me here so that I can broaden my base to become a member of something that's greater than me, man. Whatever the definition of being a member for you, that's okay with me. But my job, a part of the we, is to accept you for who you are and be there for you if I can, without malice, without judgment, without prejudice. I don't care what color you look like. The disease I got don't give a damn about what color you are. You know, if you're Eskimo, they probably went to cop, they had dog sleds and shit with all them huskies and shit. They going over to the other iceberg where my man got the hooch and all that. They taking the dog. No, we did it all. They probably got meetings up there in one of them Jones. The disease I got don't care about what color you are, man. My sponsor, when I got here, I asked my sponsor, I said, man, Jimmy, man. My sponsor, Jimmy, I got here, I was 40 years old, y'all. And I thought I knew everything because I always had my own. You know what I mean? My mom and my brothers and all them, but I started working early. I started working at 12, man. I used to shoot shine in front of the 500 Club in Alliance City, in the Harlem Club, and come home with stacks of dollar bills early, so money never was an issue for me. The issue for me was the decisions that I made, that I couldn't get straight here. See, it was just one bad decision that maybe I could do just one. What we said, one is too many, and what? I didn't know that until I got here. See? And all of these things were part of the requirement and the desire to use after the 70s was rough, boy. If any of y'all been around here in the 70s, they was rough, boy. I think I slept 8 hours the whole 10 years of the 70s. When I looked up, it was 80s. The 80s was happening. Good God, where was I? You know where you were. Copping, man. Running. See? So I look at membership differently now. The requirements for me run much deeper. It runs on a spiritual connection now. See, I don't care how you look. This program says the solution to our problems is spiritual in nature, man. I can't see that. What's spiritual in nature, man? The words coming out of my mouth come from inside. You can't see them, but you can hear them. The air I breathe, I can't take that 90-degree weather from the Bahamas and put it in my furnace at home. No, I can feel that. See, I'm talking about those things that I always passed over from immaturity and not looking at what life has for me. Based on what I've learned here, there's something that go on here that's beyond my wildest dreams. Hope happens here. And whatever that hope is for you, see if you feel, and when you start feeling hopeless and disarrayed about what life is bringing you, that don't mean you weak. Because I got tools now. See, I got other options. If I say I'm a part of something greater than me, because this is a gift from the gift giver, then I gotta pay attention. See, and look at the we, and look at what you would do and what you would do to get through. Because if I listen to me, I'm already, look, the first step, I ain't turning a Nova, I ain't surrendering to nothing, I'm not doing, nothing's working. But an experienced member here, boy, oh boy, that understand what the desire feel like, that understands what it feels like to stay for a while. They see it different. They're not judging you on what you got outside, how many houses you got. I got a business now. I got this now. I got that. The newcomer don't want to hear it. He want to hear how did you stay here? What did you do to keep you coming here first? Was it the hug? Was it the sponsor? Was it just the interaction with those who are like me? Because all I want to do is be authentic and be free. That matters. I can't judge that. God got that. And if you come here, I got one guy, a sponsor, he keep using. I said, man, the more you use, the more I'm going to love you. See? I'm not one of those guys that say you ain't going to never get this. I don't have that kind of power. I know the difference now. He said, man, but I ain't been doing no step work. I said, did you use today? No, you did all 12 today, brother. See, everybody can't write. Orchestration is always better than this. What you see is what you get. That's real. I learned that here by coming through, understanding what the third tradition is talking about. Is talking about love, compassion, being safe, even if it's just for an hour and a half in the meeting. But I gotta be at the door, hugging them and welcoming them in here. A lot of us don't do that no more. We bigger than that now. I watch it. I've been here for almost 31 years. I've been to a lot of meetings, man. A whole lot of meetings. Maybe more meetings than some of y'all ages. That's how many years I've been going to the meetings. And I see the change. But what don't change is that member that's in the group that stands up and say, yo, man, I'm still glad to see you. My sponsor was the hug man at his home. Blew my mind. He had a lot of years clean. I said, you at the door hugging? He said, why not? He said, you're going to be there soon. No. I don't ever want to forget how long it took me to get here. How long it took me to get one day clean, man. See, that's important. But if I'm at a place all the time where what I do don't have the substance of what I got here, then it's easy for me to have a bad day. I can have bad days today, but have plenty of principles, but they ain't as bad as I think they are. Because I'm not repeating the same type of nonsense and expecting different results. I'm talking about the member now. Now the new member, so the tradition ain't talking about the new guy that come in. It's talking about us, what we need to do. But at first, when I read this stuff, I'm going to share on some stuff. Yeah, the newcomer, this, that, no, shut up. It ain't talking about that, man. Won't you share about how well they treated you here? Because all the members, everybody that was in the group, they were addicts, but only a few members came to assist you to make you feel comfortable. Talk about that. They flamed the desire, didn't they? Yes, they did, spouse. See, I'm able to be here for a little bit to see all of the flaws and all of the prejudices that I had. And man, you ain't getting how I'm around some cat. They've been here for years before me, and they saying, man, that dude's drunk, man. The heck with them today. I don't want nothing they got. Because I know the difference now. I ain't in the meeting on my phone, even today. I'm in the meeting because something is happening here. For somebody that might be sitting next to me that need to see an example of what a member look like. See, I'm not the guy that get up when the home group is saying that we getting ready to close and they ain't even prayed yet. They already up moving chairs and all that. When I got here, you sat there until the meeting was over. It's just different now. And those that serving they taking the chair and they ain't even finished talking yet. I said, good God Almighty. What's going on in Narcotic Anonymous, man? No, these are some of the things that I look at that I have to mature from and be an example. So I sit there. And then when she said, we're ready to close and say this really, then I get up. But we fast today. In a hurry. So my sponsor said to me, W, I said, man, look here, man. I got cats in my crew, man. I've been here 5 years, man. I'm still on the second step. They talking about they on 8 and 9. You know what they said to me? He said, what you want, man? You want quality or quantity. The blind can't lead the blind, Brian. So why by the time you get to 7, the fourth step is just coming alive. By the time you get to 6, the second step is just coming alive, man. You start living that now. What we doing, we going over the 4, 5, and 6, but you still in 2. Coming to believe something, man. What you want out of it? He said, what do you want from me? And then you know what he said to me after that? What happened to you? What are you in a hurry for, man? This ain't a race, man. This here is the key to changing your life. You know, you want to find a different way to live, man. How you just going, and I'm sharing that woman. Oh man, I'm in my own group, right? We had a little speaker jam. I'm sharing on the 7th step. I'm sharing like Shakespeare. My sponsor standing in the corner. He said, come here, man. After I got done, I said, did you hear them? They love me, man. He said, well, what was you talking about? I said, I'm sharing on the 7th step. He said, did you tell them you were deadbeat dad? Did you tell them the truth? See, he said, members, you talk about yourself. I'm learning. This is the requirements now. The growing pains here that I'm going through where the anonymity is so strong will render my opinions and my personality powerless, man. Talk about yourself. So that the newcomer here with the desire to stay, you can touch their spirit, man. Wow. So I'm listening now. You said it. I'm listening to what's taking place on the inside. And 2, it says if I only stop there, I'm going to go know half the truth. You know, no, you're not just an addict. You're a human being as well. You got feelings as well. But if you can't identify what you're feeling, man, you need this here to help you get through. And everybody ain't got that for you, man. You're going to have to search thoroughly for those who have your best interest, who are members of this program. They ain't just addicts, man. They're recovering ones. They're members of the program. What they are for real, you read it every day. They're the ultimate weapon. So those things matter. How long I got?
You have
10 minutes?
You have about 10 minutes left.
Good God.
I know, right?
So I'm going to talk about today, guys, and how membership and desire for me to still be a part of something that's greater than myself, which is this program, how this morning at 4:35 a.m. in the morning, my cousin passed away. And at 1:30 a.m. in the morning, a guy I sponsor, his mom passed away. And the first thing I did was think about my mother, where she's 88 years old, and she fell down a couple times at home, and I'm in the process of moving her to my house. I got to get one of those things to go up the steps and all of those things, but the requirements have played a major part in my life because I'm not prejudiced no more. I ain't judging what you look like. I ain't got time for that no more. It's showing up in today that I'm so grateful that I'm not copping no more. Based on the work and how I fell short in judging and talking about people and all that. No, talk about you. That matters. And it allowed me to see the things that I can't see. And two, it talks about once you get, see, it too is the first beginning of a transformation that takes place in your life. Where now I can't, see, I ain't walking with eyesight no more. I'm walking with faith. Because the blind guy can cross the same street I can cross. I got eyes, he don't have none. I can see it now. The difference in how I treat those that come here with a desire to get through. It's important not to judge. So in the principles, it talks about integrity. It talks about humility. It talks about open-mindedness you was talking about. It talks about love and compassion. See, I forget that part in the beginning. Boy, then I sit down and I say, boy, oh boy, do you remember those times? See, I was a sniffer. You know, I sniffed underwears, cocaine, doogie. You know, and y'all that smoke, y'all said y'all get on the floor. I probably sniff sheetrock. Y'all smoked it, but I sniffed it. So we're more alike than different. This is the requirement piece now, once again, that allows me to be here and be a part of something that can change my life. And when it changes my life with the principles of the step work that I've been doing with my sponsor, and I can tie the step process together from the traditions where it talks about integrity, fidelity, and understanding, and then in the step process it talks about humility and faith. All that's connected now. I say different now. And I'm grateful. And so my mom, I want her to stay with me now. And I'm kind of excited, see? And she's teaching me so much patience at a different level, boy. No, for real. But I'm open, see? And I'm not trying to change her lifestyle or how she thinks about what she needs to think about, because for real, I'm her baby. That's first. See? I didn't know that in the beginning. But that comes from the requirement and desire for me to maintain a certain, I got that from here. I'm involved in service. I was the chairperson of my area. Now I'm the chairperson of the convention committee. I've been in service since I've been here for 30 years in all levels. I took for so long, and if I could take 2 hours out of my busy ass day to give back what y'all so freely gave me, I could do that. That ain't no problem. I don't have to make excuses about, I don't know if I'm going to do that. I didn't make no excuses when it was time to cop. It was time to do it, and let's do this. It's different now. See, when you have some substance within your spirit, the program will give you that. Members have that. Addicts that's here, they ain't got that yet. They ain't got no. We ain't got it. We in a hurry, man. I want it right now. The core of my disease will take over and allow me to think that I know what I'm doing. And forgetting that I'm only one bad decision away from repeating the misery that I came from without the dope. So I'm so glad that I was able to have y'all spend some time with me, with us. Actually, it's the next day, it's in the morning, you know. But it's good. I done got energized now. I was thinking I was going to go to sleep, but something happens in the meetings. See, there's something that takes place here that flames the desire for me to be a part of what's happening. That's what you got to give back to the new ones that come in here, y'all. It's for you. The third tradition is for you to understand that you ain't in charge of nothing. It's a we thing now. That's your first assignment, to understand that the ties that bind us together are stronger than those that tear us apart. And the group is the most powerful vehicle for carrying the message, man. So when they come to your group, be that member. You might not like them. They might not smell good. You probably didn't smell too good when you got here either, Brian. Talking about me. You know, my sponsor said, man, why come you didn't hug him, man? I said, man, he ain't smell too good. But you hugged all them girls that came in here. He said, well, you ain't smell too good either. Hug that man. And that guy had more time than me. He's still here. And he loved me to death. How about that? He said, Brian, you always treat me the same way, man. That's big for me. So, I'm just glad that I'm able to find. See, it talks about when I'm medallion. It says goodwill. See, that's what it talks about. The goodwill takes place here first, because I came in here not too honest and all that. But when I learn how to practice that and model it out to those who might not understand whether they want to be here or not, that matters here. And I tell a newcomer, man, gossip and concern is two different things, man. I'm concerned about your well-being. If you feel like coming, come. And if you feel uncomfortable, sit next to me, man. And everything's going to be all right, because, man, you're going to have fun in the meeting. And what you don't understand, after the meeting, I'll explain it to you, man. They did that early for me. We ain't got time for that. I don't know if it's more like a show and tell. That's the game we play. Yeah, no, it ain't about that no more. It's about saving lives, right? So I'm going to cut it off. And I was sleepy. I ain't even sleepy no more. There's something about this message of hope, y'all. There's something about when you get back to where you're going, man, and you see that newcomer come in, right? How many of y'all had the desire to stop when you couldn't? See, and we don't have the key to that. This power that we come to believe in Narcotics Anonymous, it says this power is God, not a higher power. It says God. In the second step, it talks about a higher power, but God ain't mentioned at all there. But when you get to 3, it said we made a decision to turn our will over to God. And when you make a decision to turn your will over, right, and I asked my sponsor about that, and he said, Brian, I said, how can I turn my will over when he keeps giving me my will back? He said, because that's how good he is. But if you put behavior there, now you can go to work. If you turn that behavior or yours over, then he'll show up and give you the very things that you asked for, man. Don't leave before the blessings happen for you. The miracle is waiting for you. Just listen to what's being said, man. While you read and listen to it. Wow. So he said, well, what you want? That's why you still on 2. And half of those guys that was on 8, 9, and 10, they ain't even around no more, man. Boy, oh boy. So, the requirement and the desire is real important. Desire is rooted in what we do to allow the newcomer to feel the same type of hope and love that we felt when we got here. Stop talking about it. Talk about yourself. See, man, you keep coming in, and I heard a guy say, man, this guy keep coming in and out of here, man. I said, boy, I wish I had that kind of courage, man. If I use, see, I'm looking at it from a different point of view than you looking at it. See, and furthermore, if you want to get real serious about it, me and you supposed to be doing this third step. You ain't showed up yet. See, where's your desire? I can't measure that, and I never once questioned you about it. I'm just glad you're not getting high, man. I'm gonna be here, we're gonna go through this together, but I'm not questioning that, because I don't have the power to. And Genesis, take your own inventory, and sometimes quietness is the best thing for us to do. Thanks for allowing me to share.